Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome back to Belgium and welcome to this. This is an interesting car. This is the new XC60 plug-in hybrid. It's actually massively overhauled for this year. I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the car. Then we're going to go for a ride with one of the battery engineers and talk about how they got, I think, 65% more range, a huge improvement here in usable capacity. And overall, it takes one of my favorite plug-in hybrids, but only because I love the Volvo stuff, to actually being an everyday, livable, usable plug-in hybrid, in my opinion. Let me tell you about what they did. So you have to forgive some of the background noise. We're here in the middle of a city in Belgium, but I want to tell you about the updates to the new XC60. Now, this car will be coming to the US sometime in the first quarter of 2022, we think. It's not totally confirmed yet, but it is the facelift of the car. So take a look at these new wheels. This one's on the air suspension. I have it parked at low height setting. It just looks so aggressive. A really good looking car. Love this color too, personally. I think this is a nice looking car. But the battery pack's gone from about 12 kilowatt hour gross to 18.8. So you have a serious battery pack, 18.8 kilowatt hour pack. But then of course with plug-in hybrids, because they get full charged and deep cycled all the time, they do need relatively large buffers compared to electric vehicles. So this one has usable capacity of high 14 kilowatt hour range, 14, 7, 8, 9, something around there, just under 15 kilowatt hours. And not only did they upgrade the battery pack, they've now put 3 layers of cells in. It impacts the interior space 0, which is very impressive. They've also hugely increased the output of the rear electric motor, which means now you can drive at highway speeds. If you guys remember from our Inside EVs highway range tests with Volvos, they can never sit at 70 miles an hour because they overheat the battery or the motor or something goes. Now though, they can do highway speeds in electric mode, and it's actually quite sprightly in EV mode. So we're going to go out on the road. We're going to drive it for the first time. I'm going to show you around the car really quick here. Of course, you can see the T8 all-wheel drive recharge badge. There's really no way to make a difference between the early cars and this one. Another feature I'm really excited about on this car is one pedal driving in a hybrid. So they take the same programming that they use on the battery electric cars and they adapt it here. So we'll see how this works. Beautiful interior. This one's an R design, of course, glass roof, really nice. Everything about XC60 is wonderful. You guys know this car pretty well. We've reviewed it here on this channel. We've reviewed other Volvos, but really this is a technical facelift more than anything. You can see the battery pack's actually under here. So you don't get this deep center console, but it's the same depth as the older cars, I would say. You also lose the drive mode switch. We'll talk about this. And you gain the new Google UI system in here. So if I just click this on, yeah, no, sorry, keys aren't here, but you can just use, oh, here we go. You can use the Google system, which is the same as XC40 and C40 now. And any plug-in hybrid with this system will then gain the one pedal driving function. For example, there are still some cars just based on model year and update timeframes that, like XC90, will get the new updated 18.8 kilowatt hour pack, the new rear motor, but it actually will still use the old Census system, is my understanding, for the first model year. But overall, we're going to be joined by one of my friends who's a battery engineer at Volvo. He's going to tell us about some of the work they've done to increase the capacity. Also, there's some changes to the engine. So up front, of course, it used to be a turbocharged and supercharged combustion engine. Now it's just turbocharged, 313 horsepower, and then the rest come from the rear. In total, system horsepower, 450 horsepower. This thing rips. We're going to try that for sure, but let's go jump in. We're going to drive it at low speed, high speed, and then of course we'll try the acceleration towards the end of the video. Let's rock and roll. You join us now in the XC60. I'm with Klas. We are going to, I guess, go through all of the new updates. Of course, XC60 drives so nice, no difference there. It has the air suspension, so it's going to be really nice and smooth and everything like this. But it's an R design, so do we have massaging seats in this one? No, got to get the inscription. And then you can hear the seat bolster coming out there. It does. Here's a great way to start a video. Yeah. And cool, so tell us about some of the differences. You've gone up to 18.8 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yes, I mean, that's the main difference. We have basically redone the complete propulsion system. Both the batteries upgraded from, I mean, it's 60% more energy, which gives you a real good electric driving range.
And how did you squeeze in? So it's the same size package.
Exactly. We've only done some minor adjustments on the size. No more. I mean, we don't interfere anymore with interior spaces.
Right. So you still get the small-ish center console, but that's still pretty good. I thought that was going to be less.
Yeah. No, it's same as it has been before. And we've basically done two things. We have redesigned the complete inside of the battery using the space in a more efficient way. And we've also upgraded the cells to more energy dense chemistry. So there are basically two things together that really makes this car so much better than before due to the battery, but that also enables us to have 65% more power output on the rear electric motor.
Yeah, this is so needed, because you and I were talking yesterday a little bit about this. When we spend a lot of time in Volvo plug-in hybrids. We're lucky to drive these cars, and they're great except when you have to go on the highway, because then you just sit at the kickdown switch and then it pulls you off of max speed. But now you're saying it can, well, first off, ton more power. It's over 100 kilowatts now, right?
Yeah, I mean, the complete power of this car is 450 with everything on.
Yeah.
But it's
horsepower.
Horsepower, yes. I mean, about just below 150 is the, or let me double check on the exact spec,
no, that's okay.
I mean, the most of the improvements from the previous 400 is on the rear axle, where we have the electric motor.
Right, because the engine's still about 313 horsepower of it, and then the rest is supplemented from rear axle.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you handle when the battery is dead? Let's say you don't plug it in and you're just in hybrid mode, but you floor it. Is there still a boost function? Still?
I mean, depending on situations and so on, but we always have power available from the rear motor, so you will not, even if it's 300 from the combustion engine, we want to have power available on the rear wheels, of course.
Yeah, and in off-road mode, it just uses the generator off the engine, or that little pancake motor, to keep the battery charged enough to keep it in all-wheel drive.
Yeah, basically we shuffle power, or energy power through the battery.
Well, let's go for a drive. So I'm going to use the shifter to pull us back into D mode. Interesting, it no longer shows B here, but it does on the display.
Yeah, well, in order to enable the one pedal drive that we also have on this car, you need to go into the B mode.
Well, let's just use it, because it's the first plug-in hybrid, I want to say, with true one pedal driving.
Yeah,
I think. I can't think of another one that really has it. So yeah, but you can feel it stopping. It's in B. I don't have auto hold on or anything like this. I mean, I guess we don't need it.
No.
So we'll just test the calibration on it really quick. So that feels nice. You guys do the most amazing one pedal calibrations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, how much work is put into this? I mean, sort of low speed creeping.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I mean, with an electric car, you would of course want the same feeling all the time, regardless if you actually can charge power into the battery or not. We don't want to have a different feeling depending on how charged your battery is.
Right, so you'll basically, with one pedal, you'll say, okay, if the battery can accept power, let's regen.
Yeah.
And if it can't, then you'll friction brake, but it gives the same user experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. And I have to just say, the sizing of XC60 is nearly perfect. And especially it looks really good in this R design trim. I really like this car.
Yeah.
Everything about this is so neat. So like even on a downhill, well, there's a car behind us. I was going to do some one pedal stuff, but overall, I really like the idea of a plug-in hybrid with more range, because then you're able to obviously maximize the amount of electric driving that you're doing. But do you think, like, what is your opinion on plug-in hybrid versus full battery electric vehicles that are coming?
Well, I would say that, I mean, part of our transformation is going full electric, and this is a step towards that. And I mean, I must say that these cars are truly amazing, and now we get the customers to get the same feeling that makes you fall in love with an electric car. You get them also in a plug-in hybrid car, and I think most of our users will benefit from the, or they will appreciate this experience, and once they are ready for going fully electric, the step will be very small.
Wow, the one pedal is truly amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, really nice work there. And then also just the acceleration's now usable to keep up, because you and I have spoken that the new strategy for plug-in hybrid Volvos on the accelerator pedal side is that when you lock the car in pure mode, you're able to go to the kickdown switch and it will stay in electric mode and it won't turn on the combustion engine.
Yeah, I think that's what you are expecting when we say that you have one pedal drive and you want the kind of electric experience. We want to, I mean, of course we want the energy or the power to be there if it's really needed, but we want the electric experience.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think in the US model year 21 cars, for sure, you can go to the kickdown switch and then they won't kick on the combustion engine. But earlier versions, like what you and I were talking about, you used to have to match your accelerator pedal with this sort of, we're going to go to the left up here, right? Yeah. So you used to have to match your accelerator pedal with this, you said it was a fuel droplet?
Yeah, I mean, we want to make it less complicated, and if you really want to drive an electric, you shouldn't have to, I mean, keep your eyes fixed on the dial. You should be, I mean, we want, of course, you to focus on the road.
Yeah, of course. So we've done quite a bit of low speed driving. We're going to take it out on the highway, see how it does at high speed soon. And then of course, maybe we'll even try it in some dynamic situations. We'll try the combustion engine out too and see how this programming does. So it should be kind of fun. We'll be back shortly. We're just looping around the airport right now. You now join us on the highway, and I have to say a huge improvement from previous generation just in terms of acceleration and also the way that it's just cruising at highway speed without caring. Yeah, so nice work there. But can you tell me a little bit about the driving modes that are on the car, because the little scroll wheel's gone here now.
Yeah.
So how do you select the mode? What's the key up setting?
Well, in this car at the moment, I mean, you're driving in a pre-production car, so everything is not completely set.
Sure.
These are set to arrive at, we haven't decided the exact date in the US, but they're set to arrive.
Yes, it's sometime early next year, probably, something like this.
Yeah. So currently we have the drive modes in the center display with a bit of a description. So as you said, you're driving now in pure mode, where we really want you as a driver to experience how it is to drive an electric car. So here you have most of the power coming from the rear motor, but if you really need it, it's still possible to get into the combustion engine.
Yeah, but you have to go past the kickdown switch to do this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I mean, you rarely need. I mean, it's so powerful that you rarely need that.
Look at this. This is electric mode, and we're accelerating hard at over 70 miles an hour, which is, that would never happen before.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think that's got to be the most impressive thing to me, is the way that this car is now much more usable, because previously you could do a city commute in electric, I would say, but then you would, merging on the highway or cruising down the highway, you couldn't even maintain after you went up a hill. I think either components were getting hot, or you had some sort of limitation where you couldn't sustain power. What was that? Yeah,
I mean, the whole system is balanced. I mean, you shouldn't have a too big motor if the battery cannot support that power and so on. So, I mean, it was the overall system that was designed for the kind of usage below 100 kilometers per hour.
City, urban commuting. Yeah. But now we have other modes. So like for me and you, we would probably use pure mode every day, and then on a trip go to hybrid.
Yeah.
And then you also do choosing when to use combustion or electric on a trip, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also something that we try to, I mean, for everyday use, where the hybrid mode will do the trick. It will still do most of the driving on electric. But on pure, we also do, besides making it even more electric, we optimize more things. This car has air suspension, we lower it a bit for efficiency.
Right.
Climate system is a bit more efficiency focused than comfort focused. But on hybrid mode, that's what you will experience every day. And what's important also is that, I mean, most customers, maybe not you and I that are so much into the tech, but you just want to get into the car and go, set the destination, and the car will do the right route for you based on where you set the navigation. So we want, I mean, we want to simplify things. So you set the destination where you're going, and the car will decide, now where you use the
combustion or the
exactly,
electric. So if you're going into the city, for example, it would maybe use combustion on the highway where it's more efficient, and then it will shut off when you enter into an urban environment where you can get more electric range.
Yeah, these are the things that we are, always working with, and I think one of the benefits of integrating the Google system is that we get good road data,
elevation data, all this stuff.
Things that we can use to improve. And of course, this is something that we also can give to the customers over there. So, that's also something that we're rolling out on these cars, that they will, as our electric cars improve over time.
So the plug-in hybrids also support over-the-air updates?
Well, I'm not sure if we are fully supporting it from the first rollout, but they have their capability to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
I cannot confirm if there are any
if the
upcoming over-there updates
coming. Yeah, but at least it's capable.
Yeah.
So if there is an issue or if there is a feature, it could, in theory, happen.
Yeah,
which is nice.
And I think that's for all cars in the future. Will make the use and ownership of a car even more convenient.
I totally agree.
Don't have to go to the workshop.
And so the other modes, you have hybrid power, pure off-road, and constant all-wheel drive.
Yeah, so I would say that hybrid is for everyday use. Power, if you really want the most out of this powertrain when it comes to performance, you turn that on, and you will have the engine running most of the time to have the four-wheel drive.
Yep. And it also helps to try to keep the battery topped up a little bit. Yeah,
depending on temperatures and such, we'll always have enough juice to get the full power out of the rear motor, yes.
Right, yeah, that's always cool. And I gotta say, it's a huge improvement. What was the strategy to go with still the small, low power onboard charger versus like a 6.6? Because it's 3.6 in this?
Well, it's 3.7 at least in the European spec. I think maybe the exact output
we might be 3.6, but similar.
But anyway, most of charging is done at home overnight, and this car, of course, charges full overnight with that charger that is on board.
Well, my only ask is bigger charger, just because I like to go around the city all day. But look, it handles really well. XC60 is just a really nicely balanced, mature car, of course, which is cool. I'm going to put it into hybrid mode really quick. So now, how do the displays indicate what we're using in terms of electric or combustion?
Well, you can see on the main driver's display, you can see a little battery symbol when it's in electric. And if you go into, if you light up the combustion engine, a small fuel droplet will show. Right,
so right now the fuel droplet's on, which means it's doing the warm-up cycle for the combustion engine, I imagine?
Yeah, so we would, of course, warm up the emission system to make sure that it's
as clean as possible, and then you'll shut it off and then go back to sort of hybrid-ish driving. We'll let this warm up a little bit, of course, and then maybe we'll try some power mode, see the acceleration of the new drivetrain, because it's now 450 horsepower.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, as with an electric car, you will never have the need for more power, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a big number in this car. Yeah. So, and you can even do one pedal driving when it's in combustion mode too.
Yeah, so that's no different.
And so basically, no matter state of charge, no matter the situation, you'll always be able to one pedal drive. And then when I do touch the brake, it's brake by wire, of course.
Yeah, it's always combining
friction and regen.
So if you don't go into the one pedal drive, you still have regen braking on the brake pedal.
Yeah.
So it's no difference in the actual blending.
The engine's so quiet.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's quieter than before.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on that as well. We have removed the supercharger that we had before.
So it's now just turbocharged.
Yeah, and of course we use the front electric motor, the small disc motor that is in between the transmission and the crankshaft.
Right, so now cold startup's done, and I guess on the indicated display it's going to use as much electric as it can, and then if I go past, big throttle, then it turns on the combustion engine. Exactly. This makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's a good, nice system.
But you have to go pretty far down on the pedal.
You really need to, we had to accelerate, more than normal just to get it to kick on.
Yeah.
But this is, the way the engine does kick on though, like for example, if we just go here and kind of roll into it a little bit, it's so smooth.
Yeah.
And it picks the right gear. I always notice they spin up pretty high. You're really okay letting this thing rev when you get on the throttle, which is interesting. And I like this because sometimes the feeling of a 4-cylinder under a lot of boost at low RPM is quite annoying. Yeah. And you guys go up pretty high. So yeah, let's we'll try power mode in a little bit, do a launch, and then we'll head back and wrap the video up. We're going to go into driving, we're going to go into power. No more ESC sport mode functionality in the cars, right?
I mean, if you want to go, for example, improve traction or off-road, we have specific modes for those.
But not like for sliding around.
I mean, of course, you do more than
the average consumer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So power is tuning on
yeah.
all the systems for performance where we think it's safe to do so.
Yeah, I really love driving in B mode with one pedal driving. It's very impressive. So let's power on out of here. There's no one behind us actually, so we'll just come to a stop really quick and then ready. Whoa, instant power, really quick shift too. That was impressive.
Yeah,
and it's so smooth. The 4-cylinder is massively improved.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's what was a bit wet here, so I felt
that did spin a little bit.
I mean, to me, I think it's also very smooth. You don't really feel the kind of jerky adjustments there. Yeah, and it didn't wheel hop. Remember how the older cars would kind of hop, 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 hop? This just seemed like all these little improvements are adding up to a significantly better car, I would say. And as much as power mode's fun, and like it really is, like, we'll just hit it one more time really quick, but you just like roll into it and, I mean, it's properly quick. I prefer pure mode, so we'll just give the engine a second to kind of rev down. We'll hit pure, and then it will go into battery mode. Yep. And you can't even feel it shut down. Yeah. Oh, this is so nice. Yeah. And you know, the use case for a plug-in hybrid is interesting. Now, me personally, and I think you agree with me, is battery electric, if it works for your daily life, is probably the smoother choice, because you don't have to haul around a combustion engine that you're not really wanting to use. However, there are situations in which you just either don't have home charging every day or something like this, where you go on a lot of road trips but don't want to use the charging infrastructure, especially in our country, and a plug-in hybrid is a great sort of intermediary step. I mean, this car is much more of an EV than previous generations of plug-in hybrids. Yep. So it takes you closer to, I mean, the experience of an electric vehicle that I personally like, and I think everyone that has driven an EV, especially a Volvo EV, then that you wouldn't want to get back to a traditional combustion engine car. It's not really, it doesn't give you the same, you get so used to the instant power, silent driving, and all one those. Pedal. Yeah, and this is the craziest thing, to have this in a hybrid, and the tuning's great. I mean, we mentioned this, but I can't think of another plug-in hybrid that has good one pedal calibration like this. I mean, it really drives in pure mode like a pure electric vehicle. And look at this, we're blowing people away in just hybrid, in regular electric mode. Yeah. This is really something special. You guys have done a lot of work on this car. Yeah, we have, and I mean, it's all, I think, especially that it's not, we don't take away any storage space or anything more based on our, I mean, compared to the previous generation. So it's really, I mean, it's a good job by the teams that have delivered this car. I mean, with this really nice driving experience, longer range and everything. So yeah, of course. And then, you know, you can even put the suspension into so you can put steering and air suspension feeling firm for some of these corners too. And you know, it's not meant to be a performance car, but still it holds the weight really well, super nicely balanced. And the nice part is, with the extra rear motor, the one thing that I'm just thinking about now before we end the video is, especially in slippery conditions and snow, it'll actually have a lot more torque to help from an all-wheel drive perspective. Yeah. Because it was a little bit awkward in the older cars, in slippery conditions, where sometimes it didn't have enough on the rear. Yeah. And do you think now this makes a measurable difference in poor climate? Yeah, I think it does. I mean, that's I mean, as you say, you have more freedom to put more power on the rear wheels, of course. Yeah, so just way more infinite possibilities for calibration of ESP and all the safety stuff that you can go into with this. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on the video. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, and thank you guys for watching. And we'll definitely test XC60 T8 when it comes to the US, but I can tell you instantly, this car is mega, huge upgrade.
And I think it's just all these little fine improvements from the engine to especially one-pedal driving to the extra range really brings this plug-in hybrid, like you had mentioned, much more to an EV-like driving experience, which I hope most people prefer. But of course, you don't have to have one pedal. You can just drive it in drive and have a normal experience. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.